Court's in session.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. First case is cause number 328506, case of style of state of Texas versus Johnny Bryant Sawyer. Mr. Sawyer, is that your full name?
Yes.
How you doing, Mr. Sawyer? That's good. Mr. Sawyer, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Bruce Gregory. Attorney Gregory, how are you doing?
Fine, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. And the state is represented by Attorney Tommy Coleman. Attorney Coleman, how are you doing?
Doing good, Your Honor.
And Mr. Gregory, what's your announcement? And Mr.
We're ready for trial, Your Honor.
Y'all still, okay. So we're gonna have to reset it on our trial docket. Give us a date. Greg,
Pardon?
y'all can stand over in front of our court coordinator. She's gonna give you a date for your court, for your trial. Once you get it, you'll be free to go. I think this, Mr. Gregory, this is your only case? Is this your, okay, you, all right, you're free to go. You have a blessed day. Mr. Sawyer, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day. Court's back in session. Our next case is cause number 321899. Case is style of state of Texas versus Forrest French. Mr. French, is that your full name?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you doing, Mr. French?
Doing good.
That's good. Mr. French, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Kyle Walker. Attorney Walker, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Walker, do you waive a record in Mr. French case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. French, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about October 6th of 2018, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to class A misdemeanor offense of resisting arrest, search, transportation. Mr. French, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, I do.
And to this charge, Mr. French, how did you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Mr. French, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Mr. French, do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. French, there's a set of initials on a line next to the box that says you're guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
I do.
On the 3rd page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
That is.
On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
That is.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
The second box states that you are waiving your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Mr. French, did you sign a discovery certification?
Yes, sir.
And is this the document?
It is.
And is this your signature on the document?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. French, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Attorney Walker, go over these documents with you?
He did.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
I did.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. French, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Judge, state, offer states one.
Any
No
ob-
objection.
No objection, State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Walker, you've advised and counseled Mr. French, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Mr. French, your attorney, Mr. Walker has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, I am.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Absolutely.
Mr. French, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your pleas and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have that judgment? Sta-
It's on the printers.
Okay.
You might have to print it from-
You print it out on a, unless you change printers, print it out in the office. Don't worry about it. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state's recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. We're asking that the court suspend the imposition of that jail sentence, place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 12 months, or that you pay a $500 fine, perform 36 hours of community service restitution, and in addition to the ordinary conditions of probation, that order that he participate in anger management course. Judge.
Okay. Okay, Mr. French, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you'll be placed on probation for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $367, which comes to a total of $867. You also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, for your analysis fee, $15 each month, and you'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. The total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month, is $180. Mr. French, will you be able to pay the $180 each month?
Yes.
You also be required to perform 36 hours of community service. You will attend and complete an anger management class. You will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. French, do you understand the state's offer?
I do.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Mr. French, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. You're going to stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Okay, you too.
Okay, and Mr. Walker, once you sign your paperwork, I think this is your last case,
Yes, sir.
you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
It's good to hear.
Court is in session. With cause number 330510, case of style of state of Texas versus Israel Cervantes or Israel Claudillo Sanchez. How you doing, Mr. Sanchez? I mean, Mr. Cervantes? I'm doing fine. And Mr. Cervantes, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Willard Hall. Mr. Hall, how are you doing?
Great.
Mr. Hall, what is your announcement in Mr. Cervantes' case?
Your Honor, we requested a pretrial diversion for Mr. Cervantes back on April the 8th. And we just realized last week that Mr. Knapp is not responding to that, and he was out of the office last week.
So you need more time.
Well, we resent it, and we're asking for more time now. He's expecting a child, what, next month?
Yes.
So can we get 2 months from this?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna reset it to September, second week in September.
This should be eligible.
Okay. Yeah, second week, that's because that's when they had a free trial, that's the signing.
Yes. My apologies, Your
Oh,
Honor.
no problem.
September 12th.
September 12th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's gonna be reset to September 12th. Mr. Cervantes, we hope that y'all, you're having your wife is having a baby? Okay, well, we hope that you have a healthy and baby boy. All right, please stand on the X in front of our court coordinator. Once you get to reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Hall, is this your last case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day. They're working on Terrence. Okay. Okay. Mr. Reynolds. We can do that one. This is on the trial docket. We have, he has Ratcliffe and he has Morgan. This is cause number 326318. Case of style, the state of Texas versus Woodrow Wilson Ratcliffe III. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What's your name? How you doing, Mr. Ratcliffe?
All right, sir.
That's good. Mr. Ratcliffe, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Nathan Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, what's your announcement, Mr. Ratcliffe?
We're ready.
Okay. We need to reset Mr. Ratcliffe case on the trial docket. Please stand on the far X. Mr. You have to sign for it.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you go ahead on the sign on the, in front of the court coordinator? Cashmere Morgan? Court is in session in two cases. First case is cause number 328086. Second case is cause number 329266. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Cashmere Annette Monique Morgan. Ms. Morgan, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Morgan?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Ms. Morgan. You're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Nathan Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, what's your announcement in Ms. Morgan's cases?
Ready on both cases.
Okay. Okay, give us a trial date on Mr. Morgan, on Ms. Morgan's cases.
August 29th.
Okay, Mr. Reynolds, you can sign for the reset.
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Morgan, once your attorney gives you reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you as well.
Thank you. Okay, this is cause number 329-380, case of style of state of Texas versus Christopher Derrick Curtis. Mr. Curtis, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Curtis?
Great.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking, Mr. Curtis. Your attorney of record is Attorney Terrence Allison. However, standing in for Mr. Allison is Mr. Marivius, Attorney Marivius Allen. Does Mr. Marivius Allen have your permission to stand in for Attorney Allison?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Attorney Allen, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Attorney Allen, what is your announcement on Mr. Curtis' case?
Get ready to proceed to trial.
Okay, give us a trial date.
August 29th.
Okay, Mr. Allen, please sign for reset. Mr. Curtis, the attorney's gonna sign for your trial date. Please stand on X. Once you get your reset from the attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Kenneth Lee Marquise.
He's present, Your Honor. He's outside.
Okay,
I'm gonna use an honesty.
Go ahead and sign it. You sign. Who was that, Judge? Who you?
Kenneth Marquise, same page of trial docket. Page 3. Gotta get a prosecutor. Who's the prosecutor in the case? Tommy? Okay, yeah, this is Kenneth Lee Marquise. Okay, this is cause number 328-297. Case style of state of Texas versus Kenneth Lee Marquise. Mr. Marquise, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Marquise?
Good, thank you.
That's good, Mr. Marquise. You're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Kevin Lane. Attorney Lane, how are you doing?
Fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
Attorney Lane, what's your announcement in Mr. Marquise case?
Your Honor, we're ready for trial. We'd like a speedy trial if we can.
Okay, you gotta get us a
This
court
has been
reporter.
pending for quite a while.
Are you right?
Um,
COVID's been around for 3 years.
We've been coming faithfully every 30 days.
Right, I understand.
Right, so we're
Okay,
very, very much would like the highest priority if we can.
okay.
You have that on.
You want a special setting?
I'd like to go today if we can.
Well, it's not going today, we don't have a court reporter.
How come?
We don't have a court reporter. Okay, so we can't go today.
Can we just get another setting when you do get one?
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna get us another setting and then we'll have one on that setting. That's what we said.
It's gotta be at this house. Another.
Understand.
So we're ready to go here. We're pretty serious about that.
Okay. Give us a reset date. Give him a number one setting.
Okay.
With the court.
Well, it'd be a court reporter. I mean, can't go try. That's why we're not going today.
Okay, it'll be September 19th.
Okay, let's that's not on a date with none of these other cases, right?
No, sir.
Okay,
And I'm gonna put on that number one, sir.
yeah, we might wanna keep that docket small. I mean, we don't wanna,
Well, it's only one person on there. besides
okay,
this.
good. Was it September what?
19th.
19. Okay. Number one. Okay, Mr. Lane, you could get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, Mr. Marquise, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day, Mr. Lane. I think this is your only case. Oh, it is. All right, you have a blessed day as well.
Thank you.
Gregory Carrington. Carrington. Okay, court is back in session in cause number 329-546. Case is style of state of Texas versus Gregory Carrington. Mr. Carrington, is that your name?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Carrington. I have before me a second amended information. This information alleges that you, Gregory Carrington, well, Mr. Carrington, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Carrington, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Carrington, you may put your hand down. Mr. Carrington, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Nathan Reynolds. Attorney Reynolds, do you waive a record in Mr. Carrington's case?
So wait.
Mr. Carrington, I have before me a second amended information that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. Hold on a minute. Okay, this information alleges that on or about February 7th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Mr. Carrington, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Carrington, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Hold on a minute. How do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Carrington, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Mr. Carrington, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
on page 2 of this same document, Mr. Carrington, there's a set of initials, GC, on the line next to the box says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
And on the next document, well, on the same document, the next page, above the line that's titled defendant, is that your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Carrington, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Reynolds, go over these documents with you?
Yes.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Carrington, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Judge. State offer states one.
No objections, Judge.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Reynolds, you've advised and counseled Mr. Carrington. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None to my knowledge.
Mr. Carrington, your attorney, Mr. Reynolds, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Carrington, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea and his recommended confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 3 days. However, we're asking the court to give the defendant credit for the 3 days he's previously spent in jail, essentially making this the time served plea deal. Only with regard to court costs, we're asking that the court tax and retire the court costs using that same jail credit.
Okay. Mr. Carrington,
Yes, sir.
you have what's the court cost in this case? Mr. Carrington, the state is offering that you serve 3 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 3 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you've already. Do we have, okay, thanks. Mr. Carrington, the court cost in this case is $292, but you will not have to pay the court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Carrington, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Carrington, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Mr. Carrington, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. Follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And I think Mr. Reynolds, this is your last case?
It is, Judge.
Yeah, once you sign, you'll be free to go as well and you have a
Thank you,
blessed
Judge.
day. Okay, you're welcome. Court is in session and calls number 330-488. Case is style of State of Texas versus Michael Winland Taylor. Mr. Taylor, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. Taylor? I'm doing. Thanks for asking, Mr. Taylor. You're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Giles Cole. Attorney Cole, how you doing? Mr. Cole, what's your announcement in Mr. Taylor's case? Okay, you want to keep it on the trial, on the announcement docket? Give us a reset date. He's on the announcement docket, page 5, second one. Michael Taylor? Yes.
It'll be August 8th.
Okay, August 8th. Mr. Cole, you can sign for his reset. Mr. Taylor, once you get the reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. Timothy Garcia. Timothy Garcia.
Looks familiar.
Okay, this is cause number 329390. Case is style of State of Texas versus Timothy J. Garcia, Timothy John Garcia. Mr. Garcia, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Garcia?
Doing okay.
That's good, Mr. Garcia. You're here with your attorney, Corey Crenshaw. Attorney Crenshaw, how you doing?
Doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Crenshaw, what's your announcement on Mr. Garcia's case?
We're ready, but we understand the trial cases are being reset, and we understand that we just asked for a setting in September.
Okay.
The rest.
Give us the
What docket?
trial docket, September.
September 26th.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, you're gonna get your reset from your attorney. Your attorney's gonna sign for your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Crenshaw, once you sign, you're free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What was your-
Oh, see.
The Jefferson County Court, law number 2 is back in session. Next case is cause number 327254. Case is style of State of Texas versus Mark Anthony Pearson or Mark Anthony Pearson Jr. Senior, yes. How you doing, Mr. Pearson?
Doing good. I'm doing.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Pearson, you're here represented by your attorney Antoine Freeman. Attorney Freeman, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor.
Okay, Attorney Freeman, what's your announcement?
Your Honor, I got some different things. I am not really on Mr. Pearson. If we could get a short reset.
Okay. Okay,
I did talk to the state about it too.
okay, that's fine. This is on Pearson on page 2 of the trial docket, right in the middle.
Mr. Milton, if we can handle Mr. Milton.
Okay, hold on. Mr.
Another child?
Yes, Mr. Freeman, you have to sign for your reset.
Any certain date, is it?
It doesn't have
Yes.
to be long, just something.
Yeah, just put them on our normal date, whatever that normal date is.
Normal date.
Ivory Milton, court is in session at cause number 327-810, case to style the state of Texas versus Ivory DeRall Milton.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Milton, is that your full name?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Milton, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Milton, you're here with your attorney Freeman. What's your announcement, Mr. Milton?
Your Honor, we need another reset. It's a restitution situation. I actually have 50% of the restitution in my old account, Mr. Milton. He says he has some money today he can give to me. He can come up to like 80% of the restitution.
Okay, now state, what's your position on that?
No objection, Judge.
Okay,
Yeah, no objection.
give us how much time does he need to get the other 20% on whatever? I'm giving 45 days,
Okay.
month and a
It'll be
half.
August 8th.
Okay. August, what'd you say?
Can we put on the same date as Mr. Pearson?
What was that?
September
Okay,
Just so I don't have to.
September what?
19th.
Okay, so it's gonna be on the 19th of September? Okay. Mr. Freeman, you get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, Mr. Milton, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. Freeman, Mr. Freeman, is his last case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead and sign it for me. Huh?
First time
Go
ever.
What?
That's all right.
Okay, the court is in session and calls number 327195, case of South State of Texas versus Helena and Dunham. Ms. Dunham, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Dunham?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's
Be
good.
better if I didn't have to always come to court.
Oh, I understand. Ms. Dunham, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Marvin Lewis. Mr. Lewis, how you doing?
Doing all right, Judge. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Lewis. What's your announcement in Ms. Dunham's case?
Judge, we're ready to move to the trial document.
Okay, give us a trial date, and Mr. Lewis, you can stand over there on the X. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. This is Helena Dunham on the announcement docket, page 1.
And Judge, I believe I also have one more. I believe Nathaniel Garball is on the docket as well.
Page 2.
I have John Macy representing him. I have John Macy representing him on the misdemeanor. Did you file a motion to sub or something?
Well, Judge, I did early on. And it looks like he's on the felony.
Yeah, I see you on the felony.
On the felony. I thought I was already attached to misdemeanor too.
You gotta file a letter of rep. If we don't have one, you have to file a motion to sub. Yeah, we don't have one.
Okay.
Yeah, so he needs to stay around. We gotta see if Mr.
Okay. Well,
See-
he's on the trial document today, Judge, so we'll just wait and see what the order is.
No, he's on the announcement document.
No, I'm talking about next door.
Oh, next door. Okay, yeah, but when he finished over there, he needs to come back over here.
He's sitting outside.
Okay. Mr. Gilmore, we have Tyler Connor, he's on Zoom. This is cause number 321566, case of South State of Texas versus Tyler Lindsay Connor. Mr. Connor is on Zoom. Mr. Connor, you could take your mic off of mute. How
Can you see me, Judge?
Yes, how you doing, Mr. Connor?
Oh, I'm making it, Judge. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Connor, you're here represented by your attorney Dustin Galmore, who's present in court. Attorney Galmore, how you doing?
Great, Judge. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Galmore, your announcement on Mr. Connor.
Still trial, Judge.
Okay, give us a date. And Mr. Galmore, you can go sign for your reset. Yes, he's number 1 on the trial, Okay, what's that? You got that date?
September 26th.
Okay, Mr. Connor, your case is going to be reset for trial September 26th of 2022. Your attorney and your bondsman will be given notice of your reset. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thanks for being patient with us. Patrick Daniel Gallagher.
Yes, sir.
This is cause number 327596, case of South State of Texas versus Patrick Daniel Gallagher. Mr. Gallagher, how are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Gallagher. You're represented by your attorney Dustin Galmore. Attorney Galmore, we should announce in Mr. Gallagher's case.
Great, Judge.
Okay, give us this reset
What's that?
trial docket. He's on the trial docket, page 2. Okay, Mr. Gallagher, your case is reset for trial September the 19th, 2022. Your attorney and your bondsman will be given notice of your recess. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
You too, sir.
Thanks for being patient with us.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm going down. Court is back in session. Next case is cause number 328-018, case of style of state of Texas versus Stephen Russell or Stephen James Russell. Mr. Russell, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Russell, how are you doing?
Oh, Your Honor.
That's good, Mr. Russell. You're here represented by your attorney, Dustin Galmore. Attorney Galmore, how are you doing?
Very good, how you doing?
That's good. Let me see, I see. Do you have bond conditions in this case?
I think we're done.
We did? We want
He
to
also is
check.
on felon. He's also.
I see.
What's the cost?
Cause number is 328-018.
Stephen Russell.
Yes, Stephen Russell. Do we have some?
No, you're
Yeah, that blue tablet. Come on. Yeah, I'm not. Need you to let it, yeah. Thank you. 328. Thank you. Now, Mr. Galmore, you can get your reset on Mr. Russell. He has a felony case.
Well, the felon is still set for today.
What we'll do, I guess we'll have to keep an eye on it. And then when you get the felony date, we'll reset it on the same date of your felony. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. And I need to give him some bond conditions before he leaves. And this will be your last one, Mr. Galmore?
Yes, Your Honor.
Galmore, put your hand to see your client. Mr. Russell, your attorney is handing you a document that is titled Standard Bond Conditions in County Court Act Law Number 2. I will go over these conditions with you. And it reads, following arrest and or accusation in County Court Act Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named herein are ordered subject to the following additional conditions. Number 1, the defendant shall commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or of the United States. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and condition number 2, the defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time as directed by the court. The court may revoke the bond and order the arrest of any defendant who, A, refuses to submit to a test for drugs and alcohol when directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol, and the test indicates the presence of drugs or alcohol in the defendant's body. And that's pursuant to the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.44A2 and C2. Do you understand that condition? And condition number 3, the defendant shall not communicate either directly or indirectly with the alleged victim of the pending offense. And the defendant shall not go near any residence, school, or other location frequented by the alleged victim. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, condition number 4 only applies in a DWI case. Your case is not a DWI case. So condition number 4 doesn't apply to you. Now, Mr. Russell, if you violate any one of these conditions, your bond can be revoked. And if your bond is revoked, warrant can be issued for your arrest. You can be placed in the Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Russell, I thank your attorney. We're going to give you your reset date to your attorney. Once we get it, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Galmore, you're free to go as well. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. Here you go. Are we ready on
Yes,
Mr.
sir. That's right.
That's Mr. Parker.
Yes, sir.
That's my law song. Wendell Melanson.
July 8th
Melanson.
at 8.
I got two of them.
One's
Okay.
gonna be dismissed for forfeiture.
Okay, 48. It's just 48. Okay. Court is in session in two cases. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Wendell D. Melanson or Wendell David Melanson Jr. Mr. Melanson, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Melanson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Melanson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Melanson, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Melanson?
Don't argue, sir.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Melanson, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Alan Parker. Attorney Parker, how are you doing?
Fine, Judge.
Attorney Parker, do you waive a record
We do.
in Mr. Melanson's case?
We do.
Mr. Melanson, I have before me a document that is titled Information in cause number 328-348. This information alleges that on or about September 23rd of 2020, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Second, this information further alleges that prior to the commission of this offense, that you, Wendell D. Melanson, on May 2nd of 2013 in County Court at Law number 3 of Jefferson County, Texas, in cause number 296113, that you were convicted of the misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated, and that offense became final before the commission of this offense. Mr. Melanson, is that true or not true? Now, Mr. Melanson, to the charge of DWI second, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes. And
And are you pleading no contest because you did not, you do not wish to fight and contest the charges?
yes.
You're supposed to sign that one where it says DWI second down here. Check that box. What is that? Okay,
It's just three because they have their intro fee today.
okay, let me, okay. Now, Mr. Melanson, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. Melanson, there are a set of initials, WM, they are on a line next to a box that's checked nola contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Melanson, is that your signature up here?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, Mr. Melanson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? There are two boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Mr. Malonson, I also have a document before me that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Malonson, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Mr. Malonson, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just went over with you, did your attorney go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, we would. No objection.
No objection. And State, you like to also offer State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor, no objection.
No objection. State's Exhibits number 1 and 2 are admitted. The court will take judicial notice of State's Exhibit number 2, which is in the court's file. Mr. Malonson, are you a citizen of the United States? Mr. Parker, you've advised and counseled Mr. Malonson. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Malonson, your attorney, Mr. Parker, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Malonson, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for Mr. Malonson to serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, that time will be probated over 2 years. He'll pay $1,000 fine and do 80 hours of community service. He will be under the DWI second probation conditions with a 72 hours upfront jail time starting at July 8th of 2022 at 8 a.m. In exchange for this, the state will be dismissing cause number 328346 for forfeiture of the weapon.
Now, did jail time begin when?
July 8th at 8 a.m.
Okay. That's the DWI. Oh, are you dismissing cause number 328?
346.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Malonson, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Now, you will not have to serve, this 180 days will be probated for 2 years. During the 2-year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $422, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $1,422. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. The total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay each month while you are on probation is $140 per month. Mr. Melanson, will you be able to pay the $140 each month?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You will be required to attend and complete a DWI education class, attend a DWI intervention. You'll be required to install a DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll also be required to serve 72 hours in the Jefferson County Jail. And that time is to begin on July 8th of 2022 at or before 8 p.m. 8 a.m. Do you understand that? And the state will also dismiss cause number 328-346. And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Melanson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Melanson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Next case is cause number 328-346. And I have before me a motion to forfeit. And in this motion to forfeit, it's cause number 328-346. Mr. Melanson, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
This document is the motion to forfeit. And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Melanson, before you signed and initialed this document, this motion to forfeit, did your attorney, Mr. Parker, go over this document with you?
Yes.
And did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Melanson, the court is going to grant this motion of forfeit that you have signed with the Jefferson County DA's office. This weapon will be forfeited to the Beaumont Police Department. State, you have an additional motion.
Yes, Your Honor, the state moves to dismiss cause number 328-346.
Okay.
Dismissal.
And I'll be signing that motion to dismiss. Mr. Melanson, I'm signing the motion to dismiss. You'll be able to get a copy of this motion at the went right here from our court clerk. You're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions and once you get your paperwork, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Brewster's ready.
Hold on a minute. The dismissal should be coming off of this. Court is back in session and calls number 330450. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Brandon Scott Brewster. Mr. Brewster, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brewster, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Brewster, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brewster, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Brewster?
Doing well, you, sir.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Brewster, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Alan Parker. Attorney Parker, do you waive a record in Mr. Brewster's
We do,
case?
Judge.
Mr. Brewster, I have before me a document that is titled, information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about May 23rd of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed a class, while you was in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Brewster, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Brewster, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
No contest?
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes.
Mr. Brewster, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. Mr. Brewster, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials. The initials are BB. They're on a line next to a box that's checked, nolo contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. Brewster, there's signature on a line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature? On the next document, Mr. Brewster, there is a signature. Well, the next document is titled trial court certification, the defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Brewster, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Brewster, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Parker, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Brewster, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Judge, state officer states one.
Any objections? No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Parker, you've advised and counsel Mr. Brewster. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brewster, your attorney, Mr. Parker, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Brewster, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea in this case, the state's recommended confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. However, we're asking that the court suspend the imposition of that sentence, place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 15 months, order that he pay a $1,000 fine, perform 80 hours of community service restitution, and in addition to the standard conditions of probation, that he also participate in DWI education course, drug and alcohol assessment, and install an interlock device on any vehicle that he owns or operates.
Mr. Brewster, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because the 180 days will be probated for 15 months. That means that you'll be on probation for 15 months. While you're on probation, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $422. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a year analysis fee of $15 each month. You'll also be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. The total monthly installments that you will be required to pay, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month, is $180 a month. Will you be able to pay the $180?
Yes, sir.
You also will be required to perform 80 hours of community service, attend and complete a DWI education class. You'll have to attend the DWI intervention, install the DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll also be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment, as well as attend and complete the DWI education class. Mr. Brewster, you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Brewster, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Brewster, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Brewster, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Parker, I think you have to sign as well. Parker, is this your last case? Okay, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. Okay, you have a blessed day, Mr. Brewster. Who we have next?
Two left.
Oh, who is that?
Livingston and.
Alvarenga?
That
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, Mr. Vasquez.
Well, not approach, but may I speak?
Yes.
Your Honor, I was appointed on Harold Moulton.
Oh,
And I
hold
remember
on.
the last time he was here, he insisted that Mr. Kemper was his lawyer. And right, this is on his felony, but I don't know if the court had notice about his misdemeanors or not.
Well, he's not here, apparently. I gotta feel, I understand, he's not here at the moment, so, and it still have you as the attorney of record on the misdemeanor. I see Rife is the attorney of record on the felony. Mr. Bailey, could you please call the name of Harold Eugene Moulton II, or Harold Moulton?
Felony court still, Your Honor.
Oh, he's sat in drug court today, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he sat in drug court. Okay.
They still have several people down in drug court. They're in and out, but it's still probably 3 or 4 or 5 people.
Okay, he's in, okay, I see he's in drug, but we're gonna check with drug court. Okay. We'll get back to you, Mr. Vasquez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Now, Mr. Vasquez, if he shows up, we're gonna have to, he may appear. Because, you know, when they have 2 cases, they go there and then they come back over here. So just hold on a minute. We're gonna make a call over there to the court to see if he appeared over there or not.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
You welcome.
I text Rife, but I didn't hear back.
Okay. Joel. You need to take your mic off.
Yes, sir.
We just checked with the drug court. They said he had a warrant and they took him into custody. So
Okey-doke.
all right, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you for the information, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is in session with 2 cases. First case is cause number 331-446. Second case is cause number 331-448. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Angela Cherie Livingston.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Livingston, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Livingston?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Livingston, you're here with your Attorney Giles Cole. Attorney Cole, how are you doing?
Great, Your Honor.
I'm doing fine. Now, Attorney Cole, do you waive a record in Ms. Livingston's cases?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, in cause number 331-448, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about September 24th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Ms. Livingston, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Livingston, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Guilty. Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Ms. Livingston, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. Ms. Livingston, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials AL that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, Ms. Livingston, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Livingston, I also have a document before me that is titled Discovery Certification. Ms. Livingston, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not signed.
Okay.
Not dated either.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Livingston, I also have another document before me that's, well, that's titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, before you sign and initial these documents that I just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Cole, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, State locked off for States 1.
Yes, just state officer states one.
No objection, State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Cole, you've advised and counseled Ms. Livingston. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Livingston, your attorney, Mr. Cole, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do you have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea in this case, the case style, the cause number appearing 331448, the state's recommended confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. We're asking that the court suspend the imposition of that jail sentence and place her on community supervision for a period of 12 months. Order that she pay a $750 fine, that she pay a cost of court, perform 60 hours of community service restitution, in addition to the standard conditions of probation, that she also attend a moral recognition course, and that she have no contact with a Garrett Landis, and that she pay restitution in the amount of $440 in this case as well. And we will also dismiss the companion case appearing in cause number 331446, Your Honor.
You said it was a no contact? I didn't see a.
I didn't say what kind of plea it was. I just.
No,
said
no,
in
I thought you
exchange
said
for-
somebody was,
No, no
contact
contact. Did
with
we not,
somebody
did we not
named
add
who?
that in there?
I didn't see that in there.
Restitution for the cowboy.
Cowboy Harley, yeah.
Yeah.
Did we talked about that, right? Okay.
Now, who's it?
It's Garrett Landis, Landis.
L-A-N-D-I-S, no contact.
You say Garrett,
Garrett, Garrett.
ETT? Okay. Restitution to Cowboy Harley dismissed. 3314. 48. Okay. I gave you a judgment.
You did, yes.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Livingston,
Yes, sir.
the state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you will be placed on probation for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs, which comes to a total of $1,102. That's the total fine and court costs. You will also be required to pay restitution in the amount of $440 to Cowboy Harley, which is located at 1155 Interstate 10, Beaumont, Texas. You also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You will also be required to reimburse Jefferson County for the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. Now, the total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $240. Ms. Livingston, would you be able to pay the $240?
I don't know about.
Okay, let me see her affidavit of indigence.
Not have one in her file. Oh, wait, yeah.
She should have one. That's
I'm having.
that's how the appointment was made, yeah. All right, thank you. Oh, it's just, okay. Ms. Livingston. Could you hand this docket to Ms. Livingston? Ms. Livingston, the attorney has just handed you a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. Will you please review that document?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Livingston, do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Livingston, on page 2 of that same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant's Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir. It is.
Now, Ms. Livingston, on page 1, there's a column that talks about total or income and assets. Is everything on that document true and correct?
Yes, sir.
And on the next section, it talks about expenses. Is that, are those items true and correct?
Yes, sir, but I am paying on a car. I recently got a car, so I do have the.
So your expenses increased?
Yes, sir.
Is what you're saying? Let's see. Do you have a pen? You can give her, where you have, I think it's the part where it talks about car expenses or whatever.
Transportation.
Transportation.
Yes, sir.
And your, I guess you paying a car note, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And insurance?
Mhm.
Just add that, whatever you're paying per month, add that on that line. And that will probably be added to your total at the bottom. Whatever that amount is. Let's see. Now, Ms. Livingston? Okay. Everything on this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Livingston, the court is going to find that you're indigent based on that finding of indigence. As the court is going to find that you're indigent pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. And the fine and court costs in this case of, let's see, 1,000. Okay, Ms. Livingston, the fine and court costs of $1,102 is going to be converted to community service. It's going to be converted to 88 hours of community service. So that just simply means that this 88 hours of community service will also be added to the 60 hours of community service that you have. So it comes down to a total of 148 hours of community service. Now, the probation fee is going to be reduced to the statutory minimum of $25 per month. So instead of being $60 per month, it's going to be reduced to $20 per month, $25 per month. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, will you be able to pay the fine and court costs? Well, the fine and court cost is converted to community service. And then, as I stated earlier, your probation fees will be reduced to $25 per month.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to reduce the amount that you'll be required to pay. You're still required to pay the restitution, the court-appointed attorney's fees, urinalysis fee. And the probation office is going to figure out how much you will be paying per month. It'll be a whole lot less than the $240, I can tell you that.
Yes,
Okay?
thank you.
You're welcome. Now, and Ms. Livingston, you also be required, as I stated earlier, in addition to the 80 hours community service, you'll be required to perform 60 hours community service. And you cannot have any contact with Garrett Landis. And as I stated earlier, you'll be paying $440 of restitution to Cowboy Harley. And the state will be dismissing cause number 331448. And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard term.
6, which is the.
Oh, excuse me, 331446. I wrote the wrong number down. Yes, 331446. Now, Ms. Livingston, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Livingston, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have reached with the state. And just for the record, you will also be required to adhere to the other standard conditions in terms of this probation. Now, Ms. Livingston, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, she's gonna give you your paperwork, and you're gonna be given a copy of your dismissal, and you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. And Mr. Cole, is this your last case? Okay.
I can do it, if it's just a motion for it.
Yeah.
Is there, do we have an attachment? Review.
That's the dismissal that's coming on.
He's in, I guess, he got picked up last night. Porter is in jail. On trouble.
This is cause number 328612. Case is style of state of Texas versus Robert C. Murphy or Robert Charles Murphy. Mr. Murphy, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Murphy, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Murphy, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Murphy, you may put your hand down. Mr. Murphy, well, Mr. Murphy, you're here represented by your attorney, Giles Cole. Attorney Cole, you waive a record in Mr. Murphy's case.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Murphy, I have before me a document that is titled Motion to Forfeit. Mr. Murphy, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Murphy, prior to signing this document, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in this document?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Murphy, the court is going to grant the forfeiture of the weapon in this case. And this weapon is going to be forfeited to the Texas Department of Public Safety. State, you have an additional motion?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would move to dismiss the case. Forgive me, Judge. I don't-
Clause number 328-612.
That's right, Judge. It's part of, in consideration for the defendant's forfeiture of the weapon and also his recently being placed on felony probation.
Hey, Mr. Murphy, I'm signing the dismissal on this case. You're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. You'll be able to get a copy of the dismissal. Once you get a copy of the dismissal, you'll be free. Go, you have a blessed day.
My excuses.
Yes, Mr. Cole, this is your last case. You're free to go. You have a blessed day. Jonathan Alvarenga. Jefferson County Court of Law is back in session. Next case is cause number 331116. Case is filed the state of Texas versus Jonathan Alvarenga.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alvarenga, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Alvarenga, you here represented, well, Mr. Alvarenga, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Alvarenga, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alvarenga, you may put your hand down. Mr. Alvarenga, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney James Paget. Attorney Paget, how are you doing?
Doing well, Your Honor.
That's good. Mr. Alvarenga, well, Mr. Paget, do you waive a record in Mr. Alvarenga's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Alvarenga, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This document, Mr. Alvarenga, was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about October 24th of 2021, while you're in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offense of reckless driving. Mr. Alvarenga, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Mr. Alvarenga, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alvarenga, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Alvarenga, there's a set of initials, JA on the line next to a box that's checked no contingent, which means no contest. So you place your initials on this document.
Yes, sir.
And on the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there's one box that's checked. The box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have a discovery certification?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alvarenga, I have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Alvarenga, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Alvarenga, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Paget, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alvarenga, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2?
Yes, Judge, state
Probable
offers
cause
both.
affidavit?
Yes, Judge, state offers both states 1 and 2.
Any
No
objection?
objections to states 1 or states 2.
No objection. State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Paget, you've advised and counseled Mr. Alvarenga. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Alvarenga, your attorney, Mr. Paget, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alvarenga, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest in this case, the state's recommending that the court defer a finding of guilt in this case and place the defendant on community supervision for a period of 12 months, order that he pay a $200 fine, pay the cost of court and perform 30 hours of community service restitution in addition to the standard terms and conditions of probation.
Okay, yeah, you got it wrong. Yeah. She had 11 hours. Okay. You said 30 hours of community service?
Yes, sir.
Okay, may I see that? Okay, Mr. Alvarenga, the state is offering that you serve 12 months deferred adjudicated probation. During the 12-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $200 plus court costs of $357, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $557. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a year analysis fee of $15 each month. Your total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay while you're on probation, is $95 per month. Will you be able to pay the $95 each month?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 30 hours of community service, and you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Alvarenga, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Alvarenga, I'll follow, well, first of all, Mr. Alvarenga, I'll defer finding of guilt and place you on probation, deferred adjudicated probation for a period of 12 months, a fine of $200 plus court costs and community service hours of 30, and as well as the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Alvarenga, if you successfully complete the probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not appear on your record as a conviction, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent on those matters. Mr. Alvarenga, do you understand the state's offer and the judgment of the court?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Alvarenga, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her direction, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. Captain Moore,
On the three truck.
okay. This is cause number 329-784, case is styled in the state of Texas versus Kaplan G. Moore or Kaplan George Moore. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moore, how are you doing?
Well, that's,
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Moore, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney James Paget. Attorney Paget, what's your announcement in Mr. Moore's case?
It's gonna go on your plea docket, Your Honor. We had two offers on the case. My client's pretty certain he's gonna accept one. However, circumstances may change within the next 45 days, so I would like.
How much time does he need?
45 days, if you would.
Well, let's get him 60. Would that be fine?
It will be fine. I just want to make sure he's prepared and he has both options open.
Right, that's why we reset it
We
to
would
60 in
appreciate
case, you know. Okay. This is Kaplan Moore. He's on the pretrial conference docket. You want, yeah, we're gonna leave it. He said he's gonna put it, yeah, we're gonna leave it here. He's gonna plead. We're gonna set it for a
Yeah,
plea. What's that date?
I know what you think now, but things, circumstances change. Just leave that.
August 15th? Okay, it's gonna be reset for August 15th. Mr. Moore, your attorney is gonna sign for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Paget, you can sign for the reset. This your last case?
Yes, sir.
You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
You guys, just working.
James.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm better trained. Okay. The Jefferson.
This is cause number 3288863, case of style of state of Texas versus Bobby Ray Prudhomme. Ms. Prudhomme, how are you doing?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Prudhomme, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Wright Kimmler. Attorney Kimmler, how are you doing?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Kimmler, what's your announcement?
Your Honor, she's gonna pay the restitution up front. If we could have a 30-day reset, it's $314.93. And the
Will
state's
30 days
agreed
be
to
enough?
dismiss. Yes, sir, she intends to pay it July 5th.
I'm gonna give her 45, yeah. All right, we're gonna give you a little bit more time. All right, what is it?
August 8th.
Okay, it's to be reset to August 8th. Restitution. Okay, Mr. Kimmler, you can sign for her reset. Once you get the reset, you'll be free to go and you have a best day.
Your Honor, Mr. Taylor.
Cagle? Okay. Mr. Cagle? This is cause number 326658, case of style of state of Texas versus Zachary Irvin Cagle. Mr. Cagle, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Cagle?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Cagle. The state has filed a motion to dismiss in your case, cause number 326658. I'm signing the dismissal right now. Mr. Kimmler is going to get a copy of the dismissal. Once you get a copy of the dismissal from your attorney, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. I'm gonna stand on the edge.
It's going to print in a minute. Yeah. Catching up with me, huh?
Very lucky.
Yeah, in May.
Good morning. This is cause number, called two cases, cause numbers 329614 and cause number 329616. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Teddy LeBlanc or Teddy Lee LeBlanc. Mr. LeBlanc, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. LeBlanc, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. LeBlanc, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, how are you doing?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Matuska, what is your announcement?
Your Honor, Mr. LeBlanc has a case in CDC that is set for trial today. He's actually
Right.
number 8. I don't think his case is going to be reached from the information I received, so I would ask that these cases be moved with the felony case.
Okay, so we'll have to keep an eye on the felony case. Once we get that reset date, we want to reset on the same date. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Mr. LeBlanc, that's what we will do. Stay in contact with your attorney, your bondsman. They will be giving notice of your reset dates. You're free to go and you have a blessed day. All right. Would you please come forward? This is a trial, okay. This is, good evening. This is cause number 326-092. Case of South City, Texas versus Victor Pastrana. Mr. Pastrana, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
That's good. Mr. Pastrana, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge.
That's good. The state is represented by Attorney Ray Shearer. Attorney Shearer, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Adams, what's your announcement in Mr. Pastrana's case?
We're gonna ask for a reset.
Okay, give us a reset and keep it on trial docket.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give us a reset.
It's gonna be September 26th.
Okay, we're gonna reset it September 26th of 2022. For trial, Mr. Pastrana, you can get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset, have a seat because you have to wait for your other attorney on another case, okay?
Just as a FYI, I did a vacation letter for July, I think that's the 18th, but it's just probably not gonna be me because y'all might wanna make a note that I think that's advanced criminal law, so you should have a lot of people out.
What is this case set?
Yeah, I did, I mean,
No, what
no, I'm
this-
not saying that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just giving you.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
that July.
Okay,
18th.
okay.
Thank you, I did
You got
make a
it.
note of that.
It's not gonna just be me. So if you set cases that.
Well, well,
How many days?
yeah,
You remember
I don't
the
know.
last-
Yeah, I might.
Good morning, Your Honor. You didn't call me yet, huh?
Not yet. Just hold, just put your mic back on mute.
Yes, sir.
This court's back in session in cause number 330774, cause number 330776. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus William Christopher Jolly. Mr. Jolly, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. Jolly? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Jolly. You're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, how you doing? Okay, Mr. Matuska, what's your announcement in Mr. Jolly's cases?
Your Honor, last time we were here, we received a blood discovery order from you. I provided that to the lab. We're just waiting on that.
No, okay. And you just take a while.
Well, we did that, Your Honor.
I know. I'm just trying, I'm trying to figure out the amount of time that. What we do, we'll reset it about 60 days.
I think that's
Should,
about right.
should that be enough time?
I think they probably had it a couple weeks now. So that'd be fine.
Okay. We're gonna reset Jolly's cases to, at least 60 days. He's on a pretrial conference docket, yeah. What day we got?
August 15th.
Oh, August 15th, okay. Mr. Jolly, you got your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Okay. All right. Now the court is in session. Okay, let me see if we got a motion to withdraw on our Pharaoh. I need to print that off.
Is it the?
It's both of them.
Okay.
Let me, I need to see it. Court is in session in two cases, cause numbers 323-465 and cause number 329-263. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Ashley Broussard Alfaro. We have Ms. Alfaro appearing via Zoom. Ms. Alfaro, you can take your mic off of mute. And we have Mr. Jerry Gilthorpe, Ms. Alfaro's attorney, appearing via Zoom. Ms. Alfaro, how are you doing?
Not okay, sir.
That's good. Ms. Alfaro, I have before me.
Not good.
All right, Ms. Alfaro, I have before me a motion to withdraw that filed by your attorney Jerry Gilthorpe. And Ms. Alfaro, have you received a copy of this motion?
Yes, I have.
Now, are you opposed to Mr. withdrawing?
Yeah, he's kind of a prick, so I would like a new attorney.
Okay, Mr. Alfaro, just watch your language. Miss, Mr. Gilthorpe, still going forward on this here, your motion to withdraw, is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, hold on a minute, was this appointed?
Yes, Judge, it's appointed.
It was, okay. Where's give me the list, you got the list? Oh, here it is. Oh. Ms. Alfaro, okay, Mr. Gilthorpe, you're relieved from representing Ms. Alfaro. And Ms. Alfaro, the next attorney up on the list is Attorney Tom Burbank. Attorney, Ms. Alfaro, your attorney is going to be giving information on how to contact you, and you'll be giving information on how to contact him. Let's see. In this case,
I don't want Jared knowing anything about this new attorney, so can you please have him leave like you asked him to?
no, Mr. Gilthorpe has another case, and so that's why he's still on the docket. So, Ms. Alfaro,
No, you just asked him to leave.
well, Ms. Alfaro, would you? Okay, first of all, Mr. Alfaro, you're in court, and
we have to listen.
If you do not follow the rules of your court, you could be held in contempt of court, and if you're held in contempt of court, the court can order that you be placed in jail for up to 180 days. So at this time, Ms. Alfaro, this case is going to be reset. Your new attorney will be giving information on how to contact you, and you will be sending information on how to contact him. At this time, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day. Okay. Okay, court is back in session. Next case is cause number 328-490, case of style of state of Texas versus Edgar Tecumseh. We have Mr. Tecumseh appearing via Zoom. Mr. Tecumseh, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Tecumseh, you're here with your attorney Jared Gilthorpe, Attorney Gilthorpe. What's your announcement in Mr. Tecumseh's case?
Judge, we're ready on that one, but he also has a felony pending that I think might resolve both of them.
Well, okay, I see the felony is set for June 27th?
That's correct, Judge.
You want us to set this on the same date?
That would be fine, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Tecumseh, this case is going to be set on the same day of your felony, which is June 27, which is next week. And so on that day, Mr. Tecumseh, you appearing in person, so you're gonna check in at this court first and then go take care of the matter at, it's in drug court. And then once you finish in drug court, you and your attorney will come back to this court. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Mr. Tecumseh, just your case again has been reset to June 27, 2022. This will conclude your case. You're free to go. And you have a blessed day, and thanks for being patient with us.
You too, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Mr. Gilthorpe,
Yes, Judge.
I think, let's see, Tecumseh,
That should be all that I have with you, Judge.
okay, Mr. Gilthorpe, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
What are we gonna do with the other cases there? We weren't part of the.
We'll plead to run concurrent. That's what I was saying was.
Oh,
Make me a
concurrent
deal
with the felony.
with the felony. You can go back to when he started on the felony because it was supposed to, it wasn't true. He's been on felony probation. So.
Okay, this is, court is in session in 5 cases. First case is cause number 325264. Second case is cause number 325574. Third case is cause number 325576. Fourth case is cause number 326086. Excuse me, cause number 326086. And the fifth case is cause number 329022. All 5 cases are filed, state of Texas versus Shedrick Renard Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mitchell, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
That's good. Mr. Mitchell, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Tom Burbank. Attorney Burbank, how are you doing?
Doing fine.
Mr. Burbank, what's your announcement?
Your Honor, when this first started, he's on felony probation. And there was a plea deal during the felony probation that the misdemeanors associated with the felonies would be dismissed or with him being placed on 10 years probation.
Okay.
There are a couple of them that are not associated with the felony. And so there was a prosecutor before the gentleman here, Mr. Coleman. So we're asking just for a couple of weeks. Mr. Ham was the prosecutor over there, and those two will be taken care of. It's going to be, my understanding, probation to run concurrently with the felonies.
How much time do we need to?
2 weeks, 3 weeks, is that all right with you? I hate to tell you to come back, but we got to get it straight. And there's probably 2 that probably he's going to have to plead to. I think the rest of them, I think, are going to.
So you're resetting it 2 weeks, you're saying, or 3 weeks?
Judge, whatever, I defer to the court, just a standard reset is okay with me, but.
30 days?
Whatever.
Okay.
Maybe after the 4th of July. Maybe.
Yeah,
Which is not
that
too
should
late.
be after.
How about the week after, or 2 a week after the 4th of July?
When is that seminar? Isn't it the week of the 18th or something?
July
So we're not gonna reset it in that week.
The 18th, week of the 18th, Judge, would be good if you're gonna get some.
Yeah.
Terrence, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we doing? 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Just don't do the week of don't do 4th of July week and don't do the week of the 18th. Okay, so,
Okay, let's see. We can do the 25th.
okay,
Of July.
Yeah, because y'all be there. It's the 18th.
okay. So it'll be July 25th of 2022. Mr. Mitchell, your attorney is gonna sign for your recess. Once you get your recess from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. All right, thank you, Mr. Burbank, would you sign for your reset?
Yes, I have excused driver.
Yeah, just on the case, on the cases. All right, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. Yeah.